Today we're looking at the first 20 things that you should do if you've just got your brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now these tips and tricks are going to help unlock new features, improve performance, save battery life, and extend your battery health, and all combined to make your experience using your Fold even better. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so of course the biggest advantage of a folding phone like the Galaxy Fold is that you have this massive inner display, and to take full advantage of the display, I want to show you some really neat multitasking tips and tricks to really get the most out of it. So first thing we're going to do is enable multitasking for all applications. You can see that applications like YouTube here and Chrome will run just fine in split screen view. However, out of the box, not all applications will support multitasking. For example, certain games or third-party applications won't actually be allowed to run in split screen view. Thankfully, there is a way to fix this. Let me show you how. So first, we're going to jump into settings, and then we're going to scroll down to where we find advanced features right here. And then we're going to tap on the third option called Labs. And inside here, we're going to turn on the first option here, which is called multi-window for all apps. And this will allow all applications to run in multi-window or split screen view like we looked at earlier. Great, so now that we've enabled split screen view for all applications, let me now show you how to better the experience with multitasking. So first, let's say we run two apps. So I've got YouTube here. What I'm going to do is via the taskbar, drag in a second application, for example, a Chrome window like so. By the way, if you don't have the taskbar set up on your phone, I'm going to show you how to do this later on in the video. This is a super handy tool. Of course, to bring in a second application, what you can also do, for example, is use the edge panel. So here on the right, I can also drag in an application like so, and then have that running two apps at once, side by side like so. And then once you have two applications running side by side, you'll see that in the middle, we have this little three-dot menu. And what I can do is tap on that. And first here, via the arrows, I'm able to rearrange the applications. So switch the order of the applications. And what is also cool is here, the first option will also allow me to change the orientation of the apps, going from either horizontally next to each other or vertically above one another. You can imagine this is useful if, say, you're watching a YouTube video on the top here and just browsing the web below. You probably want a setup like this. However, if, say, you have a typing, like a messaging app on one side, and let's say, for example, you have a Facebook app or something over on the other, it'd rather have that vertical screen space, and then this setup would be better. So super easy to switch between the two, again, with that three-dot menu in the middle. But did you know you can not just run two apps at once, you can actually run three applications? So let's go ahead and bring in a third app here. So via the taskbar, let's say I'm going to bring in the Play Store here. Again, simply tap and drag, and you can see here now the screen will be divided in thirds. So one app gets half the space and the other get a quarter. And again, just like before, you have the same options if, say, you want to change the orientation of those applications as well with that, in this case, two-dot menu. And what you can also do here to close that third application, simply tap that menu, tap on the X, and then you're back to running two applications. And finally, let's say there's two applications that you often find yourself running at once. So for example, here that Chrome window, and then we have YouTube here on the right, and you want to save this pair. Well, there actually is a way to do that. So if we tap on that same three-dot menu, we have a little star menu, and here we have the option to save an app pair. So you can choose to save it to your taskbar, to your edge panel, but also to your home screen. So if we go back to the home screen here, you'll see that if we swipe over, we now have a new icon that is my Chrome and Safari window, and then every time Chrome and YouTube. And every time I tap that, as you can see, we'll now be running those two applications again side by side. This saves you a little bit of time. You can see I actually have a few set up here on my screen, particularly useful on the Galaxy Fold. Now, next I want to show you how to get more screen space when running apps in split view, as you may have your applications running in split view like I do right now, but it may not look the same. You may have less screen space both at the bottom as well as at the top of your display. And let me show you how to make these truly full screen to take advantage of this massive inner screen. So to do this, what we're going to do is scroll back to the home page, then we're going to tap onto settings, and then we're going to scroll once again to where we find advanced features. And then in here, we're going to tap on multi-window. That's the fourth option. And then here we have the option for full screen in split screen view. And what you want to make sure that this is turned on. As you can see, if I turn this off, this is what it will look like before. So you can see that we have around half a centimeter and maybe a good centimeter or so at the bottom that you don't get to use. And that's kind of wasted space. However, if we optimize this by turning on this setting and go back, you'll see that right now those apps run in true full screen. So there's the before and after. So that makes a massive difference and gives you a lot more screen space to work with. So definitely recommend you turn on that setting. One of the things I love about the Fold phone is that you have essentially two displays giving you two completely different purposes, right? So let's say this main screen is really going to function more like a tablet, where the outer cover screen is much more narrow and smaller, which will function more like a regular smartphone display. And the cool thing is that you can actually have completely different home screen layouts on both screens. You can see here on the cover screen, I have primarily applications and fewer widgets, where if I open my Fold here over to the main screen, you'll see I have more widgets as well as more applications. You can actually customize customize these two independently, something that not many people know about. So if, say, I make an adjustment here, let's say I take maps and I move that off to the side here, you'll see that if we close the fold here and take a look at that cover screen, there we go. You'll see that the Maps application is still there. So you can have entirely independent home screens for both the cover screen as well as the main screen. You can simply pinch outwards to quickly change things like your widgets as well as your wallpaper, and of course add or remove pages as you wish. So this is really useful. And again, especially because both screens have their own purpose, where one, like the inner screen, is more of a tablet where you want more information, more applications, and then that outer screen, that cover screen, is more meant for quick access and, say, your favorite apps. All right, and this brings me to some really useful battery tips and tricks that I want to show you. And first is how to check your battery health. Now, this is very important, even if, say, your phone is new, but especially if, say, you are buying a phone used, you want to make sure that the battery is in good condition. So how to do this? Well, we're going to search for an application called the Samsung Members app. Now, this will come pre-installed on your phone. So we're going to open up the app drawer here, and then we're going to search for Members. There we go. This is the icon here, and we're going to go ahead and tap on that to open it. And then we're going to tap on Support here in the bottom right. And then we're going to tap onto Diagnostics, and this will allow us to check a variety of parts of your phone. You can see not just the battery, including here the battery status, but also things like your charging, your Wi-Fi, everything you want to check. So again, particularly if you're buying a phone new, you may want to run through this entire setup. Warning, it does take about 10 minutes or so and will take some input from you, like moments where you have to tap the display or listen to the speaker or something, but it is a really great way to do a very thorough hardware test of your phone. Also a great way a great thing to look at if, say, your phone is ever acting a bit slower or differently from how it should. But the one we're looking at particularly here today will be the battery status. So if we tap on battery status, we can go ahead and test again here. We'll give it a second to test, and you'll see that what you want to see is that the status is normal and that the life is good. This means that you have good battery health. Now, next I want to show you a crucial setting to change for helping increase your battery health, ultimately helping your phone last longer. So what we're going to do is go back into the Settings app, and then we're going to scroll to where we find battery. There it is. And then what we're going to do is, first of all, you want to turn on battery protection. You want this icon here to be on. And then secondly, we can tap into this menu to choose what level of battery protection we want. So you have an option to choose between basic, adaptive, as well as maximum. Let me introduce, or rather discuss, the two that I think are most important. That's going to be both maximum as well as adaptive. Maximum first is going to actually limit your battery capacity up to 80%. So you will not be able to charge beyond 80%. And this here will result in a lot less wear on your battery and ultimately help it last longer. However, for some, including myself, this is a bit extreme, as while I do want to preserve battery health, I don't want to sacrifice 20% of my battery. So therefore, the second option, adaptive, is really the sweet spot, as this option will still allow you to use your full battery's capacity, so you'll still get a 100% charge, but instead it's going to alter the charge rate. So it's going to take a look at how you typically charge your phone, let's say at night before you go to sleep, and it's then first going to charge from 0 up to 80%, and then wait with the remaining 20% till when you typically unplug your phone, or rather closer to when you typically unplug your phone, meaning that your phone will be at that higher percentage for a shorter period of time. It's going to slow the charge down, which is also going to produce less heat and thus produce less wear for the battery, and ultimately help your battery last longer. So really, of these three options, I think adaptive here is going to be the sweet spot for most, and is going to make a massive difference over the years as you use your Fold. Speaking of the long term, not only is it important to protect your battery, but of course it is also important to protect your Fold from viruses and malware. And Samsung have a really useful feature built in that's going to automatically scan your phone every once in a while for viruses or malware, but it is something that you have to activate. So first in settings, we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here to where we find device care. And then here, what we're going to do is scroll down to where we find app protection, tap on that, and then you want to turn this on. We're going to go ahead and activate that now. And as I say, this is going to periodically check your phone in the background for viruses or malware. And you can also do a manual scan by tapping on scan phone, something to do if, say, you've downloaded something suspicious or your phone is acting a bit stranger or not as it normally should. And now I want to bring it back to something I alluded to earlier in the video, and that is the taskbar, essentially a dock. And you will see that whichever application I'm in, this bottom row of icons is always accessible. And this is super convenient, as it allows you to not only quickly switch between your open applications, but also, of course, allows you to super easily bring in a second or third application and start multitasking on the go. But this is something you have to activate. So first, let me show you how to do this. We're going to jump into settings, and then we're going to scroll back up here to where we find display right here. And then we're going to scroll down here. And as we scroll down, we're going to look for the taskbar. And you want to make sure that that is activated. So we can actually tap on that menu as well. And will allow us to customize it a little bit. So first, we can choose how many or what applications we want here on the right of the taskbar. So by default, it's going to show the two most recent applications. We can go and turn that on or off. You can see turning it on will make the taskbar a little bit wider. I personally really like this, as again, it just makes it so easy to quickly cycle between your applications. You can also choose whether you want more or less to show. You can have 3 or 4. Let's keep it at 3 for now. And what we can also do here, just going back into settings here, we can also then, beneath that, we can choose to show or hide with a touch and hold. As you can see, if I touch and hold, it will then temporarily disappear, giving even more vertical screen space. And then if I want it back, simply touch and hold to bring it back. I personally love this feature, allowing to make it super easy to hide the taskbar and then bring it back into view when you need it. I also like how if, say, you are in split view, like I am here, it will automatically disappear. And you can simply swipe up from the bottom to bring it back into view. So all in all, the taskbar is definitely something I really recommend, especially on the Fold, as it makes this product so much easier to use, especially when it comes to multitasking and quickly switching between your apps. Now over on the other side of the taskbar, so these 5 applications I have here, these are going to be the bottom 5 applications that you have set on your home screen. So you can add as more or less that you like. I personally recommend you keep your most frequently used applications there. And you'll see all the way over on the left is where you have this little grid icon, and this will allow us to access all the applications here on your phone and to easily pull up any application for say split view that you may not have in your taskbar. So we can go ahead and tap that, and let's say for example I have the calculator. Go ahead and simply tap and hold, and then there we go. We're now split view multitasking with pretty much any application that we have on our phone. And now I want to talk about the navigation bar, another really important part of the phone. Now this is separate from the taskbar, and that here is this little bar that you have here, and it may look different on your phone. So let me go ahead and show you how to change this first. So to do this, what we're going to do is go into settings, tap onto display, and then inside display, we're going to click on navigation bar. And then from here, we can choose to either have the button layout that you see here. This is what you may have on your phone. This is what the default will be, in which you use the back button to go home, and of course the home button there as well. And this works, but I really think, I strongly believe that the alternative is better. I really think that these swipe gestures are the best way to go for most people, primarily because it is super easy to swipe home and also access the multitasking menu. And I also like how it's much less obtrusive for your display. You don't have those buttons constantly visible. Instead, you just have a simple bar at the bottom. And I also really like how you can actually swipe along this bar, going left to right to quickly cycle between your apps. So I definitely recommend you switch from the buttons over to the swipe gestures. This next one is going to add some life to your wallpaper, and that is called Ambient Wallpaper. And this is really cool, as it essentially allows you to add weather elements to your wallpaper that are going to be based on your actual weather in the area. So first, let's go ahead and show you how to do this. We're going to pinch on the home screen. You want to simply pinch outwards to more quickly access this menu. And then we're going to tap onto Wallpaper and Style. And then we're going to scroll down to where we find Create with AI. And in here, you will have the Photo Ambient option. So we'll go ahead and tap onto that. Tap Try Now, and then we're going to choose a picture. You can really have any photo. It can be a picture of your loved one, scenery, whatever you want. And then you want to choose a picture to add as your wallpaper. For example, I will take this picture here, and then from here, it's going to let that load, and then we're going to tap on the play button to see what these effects would look like. So give it a second to load here, and as you can see, we now have really subtle raindrops over the wallpaper, which I think is very weather appropriate. This was a very cloudy day. We also have things like snow. It can be day or night as well. And in other words, it really adds a new layer to your wallpaper, adding some depth, and I like that it matches not just your time of day but also the weather that you have as well. So if you're happy with that, simply go ahead and tap done, and again, when you look at your phone, you're going to have those live effects going over your screen to really add some extra life to your wallpaper. And this brings me to the Google search bar that I would say 90% of Android users have on their home screen. There is a nice way to customize this. You can see I've slightly altered mine to match my other widgets a little bit more. It's more subtle, it's not as in your face, which I really like. So let me show you how to customize the search bar and change the design of this element. So what we can do is tap on the G here, and then we're going to tap on your name in the top right. Then scroll down to where we find settings. And in here, we can go ahead and click on the search widget right there. And then in here, we can tap on customize widget. And here we can choose a range of design styles to customize this. So first, we can actually change the Google logo as well. We can also, for example, change the shape, whether we want it to be more square or more rounded. I like the rounded. We can also change the color also of the logo as well as the bar. I actually think I prefer this darker gray. And here's probably my favorite feature, and that is to change the opacity. So you can have it more solid, which is what it will be by default, or you can have it be a little bit more low key, a little bit more subtle here, and sort of let your wallpaper shine through, something that I think looks much cleaner here on the home screen. And this brings me over to some of the AI features that were introduced with the new Galaxy Fold. And the first I want to show you is Sketch to Image. And this effectively allows you to draw or add any object to your existing photo. So let me show you how to do this. So here I've pulled up a picture from my gallery. What we're going to do now is tap on this little 3-star menu that you have in the middle. That will be Samsung's AI menu here. And we're going to tap onto Sketch to Image. Now from here, I'm going to be able to draw pretty much anything on this image. So let's say here I'm going to draw what should be a bag of sorts, even though you really have to use your imagination to think of that as a bag. And then we'll tap on generate and let's see what it comes up with. And there we go. Just a few seconds later, it has turned this atrocity into something that actually looks pretty much like a bag. And you'll see that has different options as well, different colors, and the bag is slightly angled in different ways. So some of them are going to be better than others, but this one here in particular is not bad. We can go ahead and save a copy of that image. And as you can see, we've now added a bag into the image. And of course, we do have this little watermark here at the bottom saying that it does contain AI generated content. Let me just show you a few quick other examples here. You can see this one here is great. We got a nice cloud there in the background, a ghost behind me, and some wings for some reason as well as a crown. I basically handed this to my wife and asked her to try different things, and we got a cat here as well, and a dog over there. So you can see that the results definitely vary. Some are going to be better than others, but this is undoubtedly a fun feature to test and to use, and this is how you do that in the Photos app. Now this new sketch to image feature doesn't just work in photos, but it also works on pretty much a blank canvas or anywhere like a notes document, for example. So what we're going to do is open up the Edge panel, and then we're going to tap on this new button here. That's going to be the first one, and that is going to be the sketch to image icon. So we'll go ahead and tap into that, and right here we can basically draw anything we want. So I'm going to go ahead and try to draw a hot air balloon. Bear with me. There we go. Let's see what this does. We can also change the style here. We can have it from watercolor or say a 3D cartoon. Let's do 3D cartoon and let's see what this generates. And there we go. Well, not bad. It actually guessed it correctly and gave me a hot air balloon, though this one doesn't look very safe, but it does give it to you in different styles, as you can see, very colorful. And again, you can change the art style as well. I think this can be really useful if, say, you want to just sketch out an image for a note document, a presentation, or just to send to a friend. If you have a sketch idea and you want it to look a little bit more lively or add more depth to it, this potentially is a way to do so. I can't say this is a feature I use often, but it is impressive that it turned this into this. And then the last AI photo feature that I want to show you is called Cartoon Portraits. And this allows you to make a cartoon version of a selfie or any picture of yourself or say a friend or a loved one. So what you want to pull up is a picture that has your face in it. Then we're going to tap on that same 3-star menu that we looked at earlier. And then in this case, we're going to tap onto Portrait Studio here on the right. Then you want to select the person. In this case, that's just me. And we can go ahead and choose the style. Let's go 3D cartoon and tap generate. And here we go. As you can see, we now have a 3D cartoon version of myself in that image. Really interesting to look at. I think in some ways I do recognize myself, and other ways completely not at all. You can see that results definitely do vary here, but I think this one in particular is not terrible. But it's such a funny feature. I've tested it on different people as well, and again, results absolutely vary, but it's sometimes surprisingly accurate, and that can definitely be a lot of fun to, say, share with someone or to send to a friend. Okay, so now we go back to some more serious features, and now I want to show you a AI writing feature. So let's go ahead and show you how you can use AI on the Fold to help you write out paragraphs or say blocks of text. So let's go ahead and open up a blank notes document here, and what I can go ahead and do is of course start typing as usual, but I can also tap on this little AI menu that you see here on the right, and we can tap on Composer, and let's say I can give it a prompt. So basically write a paragraph about anything. So there we go. Let's ask it to write a poem about folding phones. And here it is, just seconds later, we have a screen that bends, a hinge so fine, technology's leap, a design divine. Great, rolls right off the tongue. Really creative and fun that it just pulled this text essentially out of nowhere and made this for you. You can also use it, of course, to say, write a paragraph about a certain subject or explain to me the definition of this or the difference between A and B. So it can be a useful starting point if, say, you are looking to write some documents or rather some notes and you're not sure what to write or how to start. Perhaps this can be a way to help you brainstorm new ideas as well. So simply type in a prompt. You can almost treat it a little bit like ChatGPT. Of course, it does have its limitations, but it does give you results, and you can then choose to copy that result and insert it right into your document as well, or share it with someone too. Next, did you know you can actually copy text right from photos? This is super useful. Say there's a phone number or an address somewhere and you took a picture of it, or say a slideshow in university, or say in the boardroom, and that you want to later refer back to and simply copy paste text from it. What you want to do is open up that picture and then look for this little T icon here that you see in the bottom right. There it is. And that will indicate that there is text to copy. And we can then go ahead and zoom in and then simply tap and hold over the text. There we go. And then we can go ahead and drag down and select specifically which part it is that we want to copy. So we can go ahead and tap on copy here. And then here in notes, we can double tap, and then we can go ahead and paste that text in right there. And as you can see, we've just copied text right from this photo into our notes document. So super useful and really easy way to store information from a picture. The next one is really simple, but also super useful, and that is to give your phone a name. Now, don't you hate it when you're trying to identify your phone, say on a Bluetooth menu, or trying to connect to it, and you're not sure which phone is yours? It's just called Galaxy Fold. Instead, you want to add your name to it to really make it yours, and again, make it easier to identify and find in the event that you're trying to connect to it. So to do this, we're going to jump into the settings application. And then we're going to scroll all the way down to About Phone, the last option. And then we have the rename button here. And you can see here, I've named mine Dion's Z Fold 6, a very appropriate name. And I suggest you name yours something similar, again, to make it easier to identify. Did you know it is important to restart your phone every so often, as not doing so will result in your phone running slower than it should. But of course, restarting your phone is rarely convenient, so there's definitely a better way to do this, and that is to have it automatically restart when you're not using it, or basically when it is needed. So to activate this feature, we're going to go into Settings, and then you want to scroll down to where we find Device Care. And then inside this menu, we're going to scroll down here to Auto Optimization, tap onto that, and then here we have auto restart, and you want to make sure that this feature is turned on. So first we're going to turn on restart when needed. That's going to be the most important. And then secondly, if you want to be a little bit ahead of it, more proactive, you can also set it to restart, say once a week during the night while your phone is charging. But personally, I like to have restart when needed is on. Your phone will automatically identify when it is needed and then do so at a convenient time. So this is definitely something I recommend, not just in the short term, but especially in the long term for your device as well. And there you have it. Those are the first 20 things that you should do if you've just got your brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. If this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like and also subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.